All right, peace and love, everyone. That was Leonard Skinner, Free Bird. Yes, honey, they was getting it. That's like a 10-minute set. Just that, not set, but song. Whew. And I found a clip that was live and in concert. What can I say? I am an African American. Grew up in the 60s, 70s, where this music was pervasive. And, it was a spiritual energy on life during that time period. Peace and love. This is Samut with my Mama Yoga Wellness, and you're listening to the Mind Body Energy Show. And let me dial it in, honey. I was just getting it, boy, jamming. Got to celebrate people who are at the top of their form, their game, and who can let the spirit of genius flow through them. I always like to give my show a start with praising the ancestors upon whose shoulders I stand, right? Thank you, ancestors, for all that you did to be able to allow me to be here and teaching this information and knowledge as we sit here today. I give praise and honor to all the teachers that have gone before. Those teachers who have crossed my path in this lifetime and whose information, style of teaching, and body of work I have been able to use in my own life and impart to others that God has sent across my path. I give praise and honor to those teachers. I give praise and honor to God in my life, for that partnership is the only partnership that is abundantly prosperous, and that matters. Thank you, God. Thank you for our partnership in creator and co-creator capacities in this lifetime. Peace and love to you, listening audience. I want to give a shout out to my partners in podcasts. That is the Podcast Brothers. They are really doing a darn thing, and I'm so proud of them. It is a family affair, actually, and these brothers have found their flow and their niche. And, tune into the Podcast Brothers. There's a whole network of people with a voice, with message that we are sharing out in our various different lanes, our various different capacities, with all who would tune into our network. So Podcast Brothers Network you can find on iTunes, you can find on, of course, Twitter, all the social media platforms. Do they have Instagram? I think there's Instagram too. And anyway, there's several different as I say, podcasters that is a collective under the Podcast Brothers Network. Shout out to Flaw 700 and Fresco J. What's up, lovelies? Right. So let me show y'all this, right? My t-shirts, Thick and Healthy, which is a brand of Mama Yoga Wellness. Thick and Healthy because, look, honey, we not going to be no size 2. Women of color, of every ethnicity, but specifically, my ancestral ethnicity, African American, African Caribbean, Afro-Latina, we women are going to be thick. That's just how God made us, and we just might as well embrace it with joy, glee, and splendor, and the fabulousness that it is. So, what brand under Mama Yoga is Thick and Healthy, right? They be thick, be a big girl, be a thick girl if that's how God made you, but be healthy. Be able to get up and down the stairs without being winded at the top of the stairs. Be able to walk and run and do yoga and all the things that your body needs to do to indicate physical fitness and physical balance, right? Be a thick girl, but be healthy. Ethnic women of, our demographic, our ethnicity, our hope is, a small waist and a sitting up booty, honey. I know y'all like Mama Yoga. Yes, I said it. Hashtag small waist sitting up booty. What? Because, we're not going to be a size 2. That's not us. That's some other demographic. So you might as well just embrace with, a grateful understanding of how we are structured. If y'all want this t-shirt, shout me out. You can go to mamayogawellness.com. Send me an email. They are on demand order only. And so come get this t-shirt, y'all. Thick and Healthy, Mama Yoga Wellness. That's what's up. All right, so my topic today Got to pull it in from all that free burden with Leonard Skinner. But my topic today is celebrating who you are now. You know, we can look at over our lives. Everybody can look over their lives and see mistakes that they made, see things that they've done in the past that have, you know, put them in precarious position, that is, caused loss, caused pain, caused suffering, caused illness, you know, caused the breakup of friendships and relationships and all of these things that everybody in this world can look at their life past and understand that, you know, these different behaviors have caused adverse circumstances, right? Or adverse circumstances as we would discuss it. But the reality is, and remember, I'm always coming from a mind, body, energy perspective. The reality is that everything happens in your life for you, not to you. If you can make the leap with me, everyone, to have this understanding that what your life is really about is fashioning a diamond out of coal, is fashioning a gemstone out of precious metal. Are you with me? Nothing is really happening to you. I know it may not feel like that at the time. Right? Believe you me, I'm with you on that. But if we want to live our life in from as high a perspective as possible, if we want a reasoning and rationale that makes sense, that is nurturing for us as opposed to destroying or destructive for us, then we want to stand in the space that life is about. Life and the current of life is about our success and not our defeat and failure. Life is not out to get you. The current of life, the energy of life, is all pointing in directions for your success. It's the personality and the persona effects, right? When you pass on and you leave this physical body, your spirit, your consciousness leaves the house we know as the spiritual body. The coroner says, come and gather their personal effects, meaning jewelry, you know, any money, a wallet, your phone, anything that you had on your personal clothing, anything you had on your personal vehicle are known as personal effects. Well, your behaviors, conditionings, experiences, ways of being, customs are all personal effects as well, right? Meaning that they have nothing to do with the essence of who you are, the spiritual mind, body, energy of who you are. But they are a cloak, if you will, an adornment, if you will, of your personality. So when I say that life is all, you know, the current of life, the energy of flow of life is designed for your success and is cheering for, indeed rooting for, indeed trying to steer you down, you know, the chute of success every step of the way. That is the fact. When we experience eras of living, pain, suffering, struggling, these are all due to persona effects. And some traditions, they say it's karma as well. Like what your people did or what you did or what have you, you know? That everything has an effect, a cause and effect. Everything is a ripple in the universal flow. So that what goes around has to come around again eventually at some point. And sometimes that lands with this generation or your children or your children's children or your grandparents paid the cost or whatever it was, right? I'm talking spiritually now. And the spiritual understanding of how things flow. So if we stand in the real understanding that what happens for us is not happening to us, but happens for us, I should say, then we have to understand that the trials and tribulations that we have gone through created a whole nother being on the outside of that. By that I mean, when you go through a challenge in your life, when you come through the challenge, you're a different person. Most people. Right? So if life's current, the energy of life is all about our success, then those hardships, those challenges, those sufferings that we have experienced are merely to fashion, shape, mold, correct, help prepare our mind, body, energy for the next stage of life, or the next step of life, or the next opportunity of life. It is the personality. It is identifying with your personality as opposed to your spirituality. Let me say that again. It is the personality, identifying with your personality, your personal effects, as opposed to dealing with your spirit or your spirituality that keeps one stagnant, stuck, and eventually decays and, has a real adverse response from the traumas of life. In spiritual understanding, all adversity is designed to grow you from where you were to where you need to be. So if you can grow, take the experiences that you had, learn what you need to learn from them, become this other person coming through those challenges, then you will have the opportunity to have morphed into the magnificent person that you are today. Right? What you've experienced in your life as a challenge is merely a learning protocol, is merely something for you to learn from and move on from as best you can. What if you could be, instead of being the person who you were, adverse, hurt, disappointed, depressed, sad, error prone, the mistakes that you made in life, you could take all the good lessons, try to find the best lessons out of all of those challenges, and then add them to your crown as jewels in your crown to who you are today. When we talk about the human being being a spirit, physical energy, mind, body, and energy, the happenings or the circumstances of your past can leave a residue or damage to your persona, but your spirit is pure. Excuse me. Your spirit is immortal. When you transition this body, this animating force within you, we call your personality, we call your spirit, actually becomes one again with the universal life force. Right? This is from thousands and thousands of years of yogic, ancient Kemetic spiritual teachings across all demographics, across all spiritual practices, except the three major ones, right? Because they have a different agenda. But the three major religions are the youngest ways of looking at God in human history. They are the youngest. It's only 2018 years old. That's what this calendar is, right? It's marking that religious time period. So if humans have been here for millions of years, what spirituality were we using before the last 2,000 years? You see? So the three major religions, we know what they are: Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Islam is the youngest of the three. It came into being the most recent, right? So those three religions do not necessarily on a mass level teach you how to understand your spirit. They teach you how to be subjugated to man's will. And if you don't listen to man, then Big Brother, their father, God, is going to take care of you in a hellish way. But for the most of the world's spiritual understanding, for the thousands, maybe even tens of thousands, maybe even millions of years, the understanding is that your physical body is a vessel for your spiritual body while it is on this planet, while it's in this environment. It's the same kind of analogy or understanding that if you want to explore the world of underwater, your physical body is not able to manage that environment. You cannot breathe, live, and sustain life underwater. So you create a vehicle that will allow you to pour into the vehicle, step into the vehicle, and then that allows you to breathe and live while you go underwater and explore the world that is the underwater life. That's called the diving suit. You put the diving suit on, you put on your helmet, it has oxygen, it has a way in which to live in an environment that it is not naturally suited to. So is the same with our physical body and our spirit. Our spirit is universal current energy flowing. In order for the spirit to have a tangible existence on this planet, it needs a vessel to pour into. It needs a suit to be able to sustain its life force on this planet. The suit is called your human body. Okay? So we have this human body with its persona effects, its likes, its dislikes, its joyful experiences, its hurts, its traumas, its baggage, right? So if you can adopt the understanding that life is designed to help you become as great a success as you can. The catchphrase now is the best version of yourself while you're on the earth, right? Then those experiences that you went through are really designed to help you manifest and become the best spirited, energetic person that you can. So if you can leave the baggage, the hurt, the pain, the suffering, who did you wrong and whatever, if you can leave those things off of your persona and view them as just the pressure you need to polish up the gem that is you and put that as a jewel in your crown, then you can forget about who you've been and celebrate who you are. Celebrate the magnificence that is you. The magnificence that is your connection with the higher spirit of life. The higher divine energy of universal life force and flow. When you think about it, that's amazing. If you just stop and think about that for a minute, ruminate on that for a second or two. Our spiritual beings don't keep files the way we think our minds keep files. Like, you did this to me, you hurt me, you did that. That doesn't really blunt your spirit, the essence of who you are. It affects your persona. It is a sticky layer on your karmic body. But it doesn't affect the essence, the higher being of who you are. right? It doesn't affect that. That can never be affected because you are here to experience the energy so the universal life force can have an earthly experience through the vessel that is known as you. So when it's time to return, the essence of you gets reabsorbed. The persona then, stays earthbound. Does that make sense for you? I hope so. There's some spiritual stuff I'm kicking. I really didn't intend to have this deep a discussion. But what I generally do is Spirit gives me a topic. I write an outline, do my research, and then I just let the Spirit come forth. So let me just keep on talking because obviously something got something to say. You don't have to hold on to the trauma. You don't have to hold on to the trauma. That's what all this meditation and yoga and qigong and clean eating, all of that really is to help you sweep out the trauma that you have experienced in your life. Now, I know I'm giving a simplistic discussion about it. I know it's not easy. I have to look at my own life, and understand that it's not easy. That getting rid of, not holding on to, not functioning from the trauma is not an easy thing. Especially if you don't have any skills. Especially if you don't have any, an understanding that teaches you that you are not your personality for real. That you are essence, divine, spiritual, universal essence and life force. So if you understand that you are, as I'm saying, it's not easy for the average person to separate themselves from the persona effects and from the trauma of their life. But this is the main reason that if you start taking yoga, if you start doing meditation, try and find a practitioner that will give you the pure reasons for the practices. Generically, publicly, en masse, we say yoga and meditation is good for relieving stress and it's good for exercise, which are true. Those two things are true. Yoga and meditation is outstanding for relieving stress and for exercise. But the the biggest jewel that those two practices can give you is to teach you how to clear the karmic body of sticky residue, persona, trauma, injury, and effects that don't serve you at your highest purpose. Teach you how to turn inwardly and use your connection through the crown chakra, ajna, and the throat chakra, heart chakra, solar plexus, and the root chakras and sacral chakras. To elevate your mind-body energy to a higher purpose and help you to attract those beauty-filled partners, purposeful partners that can help you bring forth the mission that's on your heart, on your mind, body, spirit, your mind, body, energy. Every person born on the planet has a mission. Every person. The mission could be as simplistic, because this is what I want to be clear about. When we say every person has a mission, we don't mean everybody going to find a cure for cancer, right? Every person has a mission. We don't mean everybody is going to do what Oprah's doing, or even Iyanla for that matter, right? Every person has a mission, though. No one is born on the planet from the spiritual yogic understanding, the ancient Kemetic understanding, right? No one is born without a purpose on their life. And that purpose furthers the whole. That purpose is all about success. Even when it looks crazy, Spirit, you can use negative experiences, as I'm saying from the beginning of this talk with you. Use negative experiences for success as well. Right? Case in point, let me give you this scenario. A woman, we see this, you can Google it, people who've used cancer to do great things, right? A woman has breast cancer. She and her family, fight as hard as they can to save her life. It doesn't work, but out of that fight, they start a foundation that now funds research that helps so many other people save their lives, but not hers. Was the cancer bad or good? Was the adverse situation terrible, or was it a blessing? It really is relevant how you look at life, right? It all is relative as to how you look at life. You see? From a spiritual perspective, though, everything is as they say in the holy books, everything serves to further. So if you can wrap your mind around the understanding that you are not your trauma, that you are not the adversity, you are not the challenges, you are not the hurt, you are not the pain, you are not the suffering, you are not the illness, you are not the trauma that has happened in your life, but you are the magnificent composite of having come through that, of having made it to the other side of those traumas, of still being here after being through those adversities. That you have gained a strength, that you might be a little knocked around physically. Your physical vehicle, your diving suit might be a little dented and a little squishy in certain places. You might even have a couple of patches from holes that you patched up in the diving suit, your physical body. But you are not that. You are the essence, the magnificence, the beautiful being who made her way through the trauma. If you can stand in the space of celebrating not who you were, not where you've been, but where you are now, and bring the strength that it took to get through that to where you are now. I know that there's a message of magnificence that you can share with others on your heart, right? Imagine if you can forget who you were and just focus on who you are now. You made a mistake. You made errors. You made errors that may have even cost you loss. I'm sitting here speaking from my heart about my own life. That was then, and this is now. If you made it through, there's a mission, there's a purpose, there's a story, there's a blessing that you can share with someone else. You ain't that trauma. You are the magnificence that grew out of the mud. Your partnership with divine, universal life force and flow is the greatest partnership you could have in your life. Use those traumas, those challenges, those, that pressure to fashion the jewels that are in your crown around your beautiful, magnificent halo known as your crown chakra. That was then, and this is now. That's my message this afternoon. I wanted to share that with you all. So much peace and blessings to you. We are living in a time where, the spiritual teachings can no longer be cloaked, right? The energy has sped up, and as of 2012, we are in a new era, right? We are in an era of benevolence, an era of collective work, an era of harmony, an era of collaboration, an era of divine love and permeant beauty. We are in the era of the divine feminine. Since 2012, the era has switched, right? So now we're in the spiritual, astronomical, karmic time of the return of the divine feminine. and these principles of harmonious working together, cultural preservation and self-respect, supporting and taking care of women and women's contribution to the success of society. And you can see that, right? You see various demographics saying no more with the women, and the whole Me Too movement, even though, there's some, imbalances within these things, is still indicating that we are in the infancy of the time of the divine goddess. That is the return to women's, respected and honored contribution to society, right? So, we have to share the biggest aspect of what is happening with our mind-body energy, and that is we've had a disconnect between spirit and personic understanding, and understanding that you are divine spirit in a physical vehicle. The time for cloaking that type of training is over. We have to bring that training now out into the public and share it with as many people as we can. One of the main things that I love about Kundalini Yoga, and I'm so resonant with that practice, being, a priestess and a spiritual practitioner for, the majority of my life on this planet, and many, 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 many lifetimes before. But in this particular lifetime, resonating with Kundalini Yoga is that the practices to clean the energy, the body's energy of negative, sticky, karmic, challenges and situations, those practices are there and available, right? There are certain yogic breathings and movements and hand energy movements that clean your aura. For real. Me and my partner, my mate, and I just did 40-day, we do 40-day challenges every so often. And we just did a 40-day challenge of prosperity, yogic prosperity, Kundalini Yoga prosperity, right? And in that is a clearing off your past eras. Anything that has obstructed you from being abundant, prosperous, and managing your resources in a well way, you want to get that sticky off you. That was then, and this is now, right? And clean it up, and then put it as a jewel in your crown, right? So that the crown around your head has so many jewels of success that you've come through, right? So we just came through that 40-day process, and the ritual or the yogic practice, right? The asana for that, I'm going to put on my YouTube page in the next, probably in the next week. You'll be able to see it. By the time this posts up, it'll be up, right? So you'll go to Mama Yoga Wellness on YouTube, MAMAYOGAS Wellness on YouTube, and see, and the video will be there, and I'll show you how to get the stickies off, how to clear your auric energy. And if you do this for the time prescribed, within a matter of a week, you'll feel a difference and a lighter energy around you, right? When people say they get a vibe from you or you get vibes, that's all that is. That's your auric energy, right? And so, I'll be dropping these skills in videos on my YouTube channel as these series on the podcast here forward on, okay? Because like I said, you can't hold the information anymore. Everybody has to have come to, at their own pace, their own time, their own desire, the understanding of your spirited connection, and your ability and way in which to navigate this world in the with the understanding that nothing is happening to you, everything is happening for you to fashion out of your persona effects a beautiful jewel that will go in your crown all around that beautiful halo known as your head, right? All right, everybody, thank you so much. It's my pleasure to always be bringing this information to you. It is, in fact, what I was born to do. So we might as well just get to it. and keep it rolling. Share this podcast or video with anyone. You never know who needs the message. Just share it out, okay? And let people judge for themselves, take whatever they can from what's being shared, and what they don't need, they can discard. It's up to the person. I have no control over that. I just would like and ask you to share as much as you can, because you never know whose life you can affect by sharing this information. Leave us a comment. Tell us a situation that you've come through. That was then, and this is now. Tell us a situation that you've come through, that you know that you took the best you could from that situation, and now it's a pearl, a diamond, an amethyst, an opal, in your crown, because you come through that situation and you're the better for it. It forced you to be a better person, to come up, right? And also, you can leave me a comment. Tell me what you think about this message that's being shared. Like us on iTunes. And as I say, share, share, and share. I wish you much peace, love, and joy, and prosperity, and of course, abundant health and vitality. Talk to you soon. Peace and love.